Hi everyone, welcome to your live readings for the 17th to the 23rd of March. It's wonderful to see you. If you're here, don't be shy, please say hi in the chat, let me know how you're getting on. Hoping the energies haven't been too tough on you this weekend. It's been sort of a time when there's been a lot of rest needed, I feel, for a lot of people. Hi LV7095LV, hi Michelle, hi Rena. It's wonderful to see all of you. Hoping it's been a restful Sunday for most of you. Heading towards the full moon in Libra on Wednesday now, which is also the equinox, so it's going to be the start of the astrological new year. So things are going to shift. In the northern hemisphere, we're obviously moving back towards the light. The southern hemisphere is moving away from it, but it's a big shift in any case, and hopefully things will be clearing for a lot of us very, very soon. What we do in the next few days is kind of going to start to determine sort of how our next year looks as well. So it's an important time to be releasing, not to get caught up. And if we're not able to do that, just to at least be kind to ourselves, practice a bit of self-care. I'm going to start off in a moment pulling cards for the collective, for which I'm using 78 Tarot Mythical. And then after that, I'll move on to pull cards for the 12 signs. And this is, hopefully I'm going to be doing like a full week reading on here every week, and then one or two other videos throughout the week as well. So obviously, if you're subscribed, you hopefully catch me quite regularly. And yet, welcome LB7095LV to my own space this time. So cards for the collective for the 17th to the 23rd of March 2019. And if you're here, don't forget to like the video as well. That all helps. I'm really glad, LV, I'm really glad that was useful to you. I hope things are moving forward for you on that fairly quickly. So for the collective, let me see what we're all dealing with. Cards for the collective. Okay. Hi, Nicole. Spring cleaning is a great idea this time of year. It's literally what it's for. Okay, this is good. I like this. So I feel like we're going to be sort of emerging as the week goes on. This is really positive. I don't feel that we're there just yet, but I feel that we're getting ideas with the Magician. We're getting ready to move, getting ready to take a bit of control, find a bit of impetus. And as we head towards the equinox, and as we head towards the sun moving into Aries with the full moon in Libra, the sense that I get is that setting intentions here is very important. Starting to take control, to take a bit of action is important. And we have the Magician showing up as the first card. So we are heading towards those new beginnings. We're heading towards those new beginnings, and we're not quite there yet. We can't quite see how we're going to bring those about. But I feel that the intentions we're setting are really important, and we'll leave the details until we really get right up to the full moon. And then I feel like we'll be moving into action. I feel there's a lot going around in our heads at the moment, so we're not quite acting just yet, but we will be. I feel some of us are maybe just that bit fearful that we won't get going that quickly. But I feel that we will, but with the Two of Swords showing up, underpinning the Magician, it's kind of like the ideas are there almost, but we don't quite see the how. We don't quite see the how, and we might get a bit caught up in that. We might get a bit caught up in that, start doubting ourselves. Start doubting ourselves or start overthinking, but it's not about overthinking really. It really is about about just being able to get ready to move into action with the Magician. And you can see the full moon showing up just there. That's exactly what we need to be focused on at this time. It's a fantastic time to be getting moving around Wednesday. So we're moving towards that. Now, I feel that the overthinking is something that we're leaving behind. With the Knight of Swords, there's been a lot of this. And I feel that with Mercury in retrograde in Pisces as well, there's a lot of that. Things going around in our heads, a lot of thinking, a lot of talking, maybe blurting stuff out, maybe over-talking, maybe saying too much, maybe saying stuff we don't mean because it's all been racing around in our heads and we've been too much up in it. And now it just needs to calm down a little as we get ready to focus ourselves with the Magician. So where we come to right now, we come to the Six of Cups. And with the Six of Cups, this is kind of a reminder about our thoughts that are coming up at the moment, that a lot of them reflect something old. They really reflect something old, and it might feel current, but it's not current. It's like an old script that we're going through, or an old role that we're playing out, an old way of relating to the world or to ourselves or to certain situations that has suddenly come rushing up again. And it's like you recognize what it is, you try and get away from it, and then up it comes again. And this has been happening a lot. It's happening because we're clearing this stuff, but that may be quite overwhelming for a lot of people as well at this moment in time. And therefore we're just sort of, we're not that comfortable, I feel, as a result of that at this moment in time. We get ourselves comfortable, and then the unease and the bits of doubt and stuff just start to come in again. Now, the good news is we're moving past this. We're moving past this because I feel like we're going to make a commitment this week that sort of says, okay, I'm not that person anymore. I don't need to do that anymore. And I feel on the broader scale, in terms of how we relate to ourselves as a society, what's coming up is so much around who are we as a society? How do we act in relation to ourselves, to each other as a society? The old stuff that was never resolved has been coming up globally. I mean, if you look at if we look at the massacre that took place on Friday in Aotearoa or New Zealand, you can see this is a real threat to all of us. This is a real threat that's been bubbling under for a long time. It's a real threat to the world. And we're talking about white supremacism there. We're talking about old stuff that we never released from our society and from our consciousness. We just kind of stuffed it down. And that's the grander scale. Those are the real fights that are coming up, and the real battles that are coming up for the kind of world we're going to live in the future. And that's kind of a flash of it. And there's more of it besides. We know there's more of it besides. We see it happening across the world. And therefore, at the same time as our own relationship to ourselves, we're looking at how we relate to each other as a society and what kind of world we're going to be creating. And ultimately, this therefore needs a commitment from everyone to be able to relate to each other in a positive way, to be able to show love and compassion to each other, and to really start to deal with our own roles within this, our own roles in perpetuating these kinds of oppression that then give rise to this kind of thing. And that's going to be ongoing work for us. That's building up to a head in 2020 when we have Pluto conjunct Saturn in Capricorn. So how we treat each other, how we respond to each other, how we show love to each other and look out for each other in a bigger sense is absolutely crucial at this time. And we can't get away from that. We can't get away from that. And again, that comes up. That's the stuff from the past that we didn't deal with. Collectively, that's the stuff from the past that we didn't deal with. We didn't deal with some of the fundamentally reactionary ideas we built our society on. We didn't deal with our own subconscious biases, and that comes up. And we have all of us have a responsibility to continually work on that and to show love and compassion to those worst affected. Now, I feel that we're also going to move into action over this. We're going to move into confidence. We're going to show love and warmth to each other. And that is coming up as we move towards a space of the Six of Wands. And I feel with the Six of Wands, we are going to be able to move very positively. And that also includes, I feel, celebrating each other. It includes celebrating those people around us and those people in wider society who are getting more shit, getting more stick, being met with more violence, because that is where the love needs to be shown more and more. And we have to move towards that as if we're going into a new astrological year, and it is the build up really to what an awful lot of people see as the predictor for the kind of world we're going to live in the future. And that's up in the air, that's up for grabs. What we do matters. Then we are talking about needing to set those intentions and start off in Aries season going absolutely the right way with this. It's going to make the biggest difference. It's going to make the biggest difference in terms of every interaction that you have, and it's going to make the biggest difference in terms of what we do on that broader scale as well. You can't disconnect one from the other. And I feel with the Magician as well, this is just telling us that we hold the tools, we hold the power to be able to do that. The thing that gets in the way is when we feel we can't do anything with the Two of Swords, but we absolutely can. This is exactly where we're moving towards. So much is set up for us to feel overwhelmed, trapped, insignificant, not able to affect it, too scared, too horrified. And all of that is set up in a very, very real way to disempower us. But we are in a position, individually and collectively, to start to shift that. We absolutely are. But it does mean taking that into every day of your life, every interaction in your life, understanding the ways in which some people are more affected, understanding the ways in which some people are less affected, using the spaces you have to improve things wherever you can, because that is going to shape where we go from here. And that's the collective picture. And it's no surprise to me that at a turning point like the sun being about to move into Aries, we absolutely come to that. That's where we're at collectively. That's a big deal. And, you know, if you're scared, you're not the only one. You know, if you're overwhelmed, you're not the only one. If you're horrified, you're not the only one. At times, you'll just need to disconnect, turn off because it's too much, and then come back once you're refreshed and be able to come in more positively, because what we can't be doing is projecting more fear into it, because that really strengthens and emboldens those people who we are absolutely up against here. You know, it's a real fight on a societal level in terms of what our values are and how we live from here. So that is the collective picture. I'm going to move on now to pull cards for the 12 signs. I'm going to start off with Aries. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Thank you, Michelle and Rena. And it's the practical stuff. You know, it's, you know, in the aftermath of what's happened on Friday, you know, the people worst affected are going to be the most scared. So, you know, you're reaching out to your local Muslim community, you're visiting your local mosque, asking what you can do to help, to support, just to let people know that they're loved and that they belong. Because I feel this is the danger, is we get carved out, people get pushed out, people get ostracized from society. That's the danger. That's the danger. They start to break us apart and set us against the people who are already the weakest in society. So Aries for the 17th till the 23rd of March 2019, because I can go into more detail on that, but I'll take up the whole video just doing that. So Aries, let me see where you're at. Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Okay. First out of the blocks, and Aries, you are in this space to really help so many people. Oh my goodness. So the sun enters your sign on Wednesday, and the first card that shows up for you is the sun. So you are the first out of the blocks. You are like leading the charge here. You are showing the way. You are like the strongest fighter at this stage, Aries. Absolutely ready and able to get stuck in because you have that energy about you. You are being fueled at this time and you are ready to start leading the charge. So you are in this incredibly important role. Underpinning this is the star as well. So you are the one who offers hope, who offers guidance through your actions, through asserting yourself on the situation. And therefore, you are able to show new ideas, new ways of doing things, but you are also just able to show the hope. I feel you're less emotionally affected than the other signs at this time. You are in a space where you can deal with that an awful lot better and where you can just start to see where the cracks are within the matrix, where the cracks are within the ways of doing things that are giving rise to what we're facing collectively. And you are able to come in and offer that hope and that other way of doing things in practice. So you are essentially, you're at the front. You're like, you're just like the front line of this almost, Aries. You're in an incredibly important role in this sense. Now, you have the Eight of Swords coming up. And with the Eight of Swords, I feel that a bit of that, and it's because the sun's not quite in your sign yet, a bit of that is like, but this is too much for me. I can't do this all by myself. No, you can't do it all by yourself and no one's asking you to. But what you can do is just start to set about what's in front of you, Aries. I feel you have this wonderful, wonderful space to be able to do that. And the trick is not to overthink it. It's not to have too many ideas going around, because that is where you start to feel trapped and unable to move. But there is stuff that you can do this week, Aries. You're in this really, really strong position, and all it takes is for you to be quite decisive. I can focus my efforts here, and so I will. I can do this. I can shine the light here. I can shine my own light here. I can assert myself in this way, and this is how I'm going to start my new year. And if you're an Aries sun, it's how you're going to start your solar return as well. With the Ace of Swords, you're in this space where you can absolutely do that, where you can point the way and where you can make that commitment, that decision not to be pulled down, not to be held down, but to go for it, And I feel that that is the start. I feel you're going to then gain more insight, more understanding. I feel you're going to reconcile a lot of conflicted views that you have regarding yourself that might be there at the moment. And you're going to just start on this movement, this journey. It's not all going to be lightning fast, but the beginning of it is, it's going to start to carry you. You are in this role. The stars have mapped out this role for you, Aries. This is exactly what you need to be doing. And with this, the old stuff that held you back flows away. It floats away. It floats out of your life. It floats out of your life because you don't need it anymore. Because it's done. It's done, it's finished, and you're in to this really, really strong place, Aries. And I feel that that also then affects your own personal life. It means that you start to become stronger, more resolute, more able to act, more able to shape things how you want them to be or how they need to be. There is no need then to hold back, and you go in with warmth. With the sun, you go in with complete warmth and complete honesty and openness, and you help everyone else as well. And you start where you can. You start where you're moved to act. No need to think about it too much, because I feel the situations where you can help will just come into your life. They'll be in front of you, and all it needs is for you to come in and move on them. It's a tremendously exciting role for you, Aries. I also feel you're going to feel stronger and stronger as the week goes on. You are moving into this wonderful, wonderful place, and you are able to share that with everyone else. All it takes is a commitment to go with it and not to fall backwards. I hope that makes sense to you. The next sign is going to be Taurus. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising. Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March 2019. Hi, Teresa. Taurus, Sun, Moon and Rising. First card jumps out. Okay, Taurus. Hi, Don Vlogs. Hi, Kate Miranda. Okay, Taurus, you're in your feelings a little bit. You're being affected by stuff in your own life as well as by the bigger picture. I feel that on a more micro level in your own life, you might feel like somebody's not paying you as much attention as they were. You might be doubting whether somebody likes you as much as you felt they did. You might be doubting your own feelings towards them. It's a little bit tense, a little bit unpleasant. I also feel that you might just be reading too much into things during a difficult period, and things can calm down for you a fair bit. But it's almost like you're just not feeling comfortable. And this can be with a particular person, or it can be with a group of people. You don't feel quite ready to step in and fully embody things. But that's okay, and I feel that you'll get there. So your first card is the 5 of Cups, and underpinning it is the 7 of Swords. And therefore, I feel that you might have had to step back a bit. You might have had to pull back a bit and take care of your own feelings. And with the 7 of Swords, you might be feeling a little bit guilty about that. And there probably is no need for you to feel so guilty about it, because you do have your own needs. You do have your own needs. And I feel that it's kind of okay to not be the life of the party, not be the center of things, not be around too many people at once if you're not able to. With the 3 of Cups, I feel that the people who you're around like you, they value you, they have a good time with you, you fit well with them, and you need to not have so much doubt around this. In the sense that I get is just this bit of doubt at this time. Bit of doubt at this time that also may mean that you might have a little bit of jealousy towards somebody else as well, or somebody might be feeling a bit of jealousy towards you spending time with someone else. And so I feel things are not wonderfully harmonious, but a lot of this is just anxiety being built up and you not knowing which way to go at this time. So we have the 6 of Pentacles showing up for you, Taurus, and with the 6 of Pentacles showing up, I feel that your main mission is just to keep putting in where you can, not more than you can give. But you also need to trust that your friendships, your relationships, and everything else that you're invested in are things that are developing. They are growing. You are being helped with them. You don't need to be so fearful and anxious, and nor do you need to be so hyper-focused on them, because I feel that your mind is playing tricks. I feel that some of your feelings might be coming up from the past, and you might feel that they're now and they're not. And so there is just this need to just come back to yourself and put into things where you can. With the 6 of Pentacles, you are in the right place. You are around the right people. You can trust them and you can trust yourself, and things are nowhere near as bad as you might be feeling they are with the 5 of Cups. So with the High Priestess, this comes down then to much deeper feeling, deeper knowledge, intuition, and possibly to reaching for higher guidance as well, to recognize that you are okay. You are okay. You don't need to be doubting yourself this much. You're allowed to feel, and if things are tough, that's okay. And you're allowed to feel that as well. But what you don't need to be doing is beating yourself up if you need to take a break. If you can't always be there for people at this time because you've got to look after yourself. Obviously, we all have a responsibility to look out for each other, but you also need to look out for yourself, Taurus, and you can't underestimate that role either. So don't feel the need to put your own needs on hold. With the High Priestess showing up, I absolutely feel that your heart is in the right place, and I feel that you are in a grounded place as well. That also means that you don't have to be mega active at all. Just keep putting into what you're already doing. Keep putting into what you're already doing. Yes, we're all going to be moving into more action soon. But for you, Taurus, I feel you have almost like this maintaining, almost like a custodian role, that you keep an eye on yourself, on things, on the people around you. And you don't have to do too much because you're part of a bigger group. And people have their own roles within that, and you are adding to it. I hope that makes sense to you, Taurus. Coming up next is going to be Gemini. Hi, Sally A. Hi, Gypsy Roses. Hi, Trisha. It is. It is. Thank you for noticing. It is the 78 Tarot Astro, which I haven't used in a little while, but it's an old favorite. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March, 2019. Okay, Gemini. Okay, Gemini. Okay, Gemini. You have a natural role to play. Your natural role is as a communicator. Excuse me. Your natural role is as a communicator, Gemini. And that needs to be your focus at this time. I can see you just like outlining things to one person, maybe to a few people, not a huge group of people. But I feel like you can talk somebody through their situation. You can talk to an individual about the bigger picture that we're all facing. And you can do so really, really well, Gemini. I feel this is driving you with the Page of Swords. You are in this communicative position. You are also in a place where you are quite free in your ideas. You're quite free in your ideas if you allow yourself to be. So you don't have all the answers, and that's okay. But it's like through talking to people, through guiding people, you process yourself, you think out loud. That helps things. That helps things, and that helps you to get past a situation of taking on too much, of locking yourself in before you've made up your mind at this time, Gemini. And that's quite important, because you might feel the need to lock yourself in, to have all the answers, to lock yourself into a particular course of action upon the world. with the Ace of Pentacles. And I don't feel like you need to. I feel you can pick what you want to work with people on, what you want to advise people on, what you want to talk people through, convince them of, but you can still be fluid within that, with the Page of Swords, because there's lots more to learn. So the Emperor shows up, and the danger for you is that you try to become too much of an emperor, that you have everything set up, set out. You lock yourself into a rigid space as we go into Aries season, but you don't need to be the Emperor, Gemini, at this time. You don't need to take on so much. You don't need to have so many things set out. And if you do, I feel you put yourself under strain with the 10 of Wands, and then you become a bit defensive with the 7 of Wands. But with the 7 of Wands, the reality is you're in a good place. You're in a strong place. You need to trust yourself. You need to trust yourself and your ideas and your chosen focus this week, Gemini, because I feel that otherwise you move into this defensive space, this guarded space. You allow people to get at you. Maybe you talk to too many people. You start placing yourself in situations where fights are picked, and there's just no need, because in these smaller groups, 1-to-1 to 1, or even a couple more than that, you are in a strong place to be able to talk people through things and to get your own ideas clear as well. If you overstretch yourself, you move into a space of defensiveness, and you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. You're starting small. You're acting from where you are, Gemini, and you are in this strong, strong place. So you just pick one thing that you want to guide people through, talk people through, get your own self straight on through talking it through. Through talking it through, rather than feeling like you have to have all the answers in advance, because you're in a Page of Swords space, so there's no need. With the 6 of Cups, I feel that you're becoming stronger now. You're moving away from this space where you feel like you have to prove yourself to people all the time. And that's obviously going to be really, really powerful for you. And this is your main role, is just being the communicator, and it's a natural role for you, Gemini. You don't need to take on more than that. Don't feel the need to take on more than that. Just pick the one thing you want to focus on and move on that. Everything else will come into place over time, but not if you overstretch yourself at this moment in time. I hope that makes sense to you, Gemini. The next sign is going to be Cancer. Hi, Philippa. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And if you're here, please remember to like the video, and please remember to share the video as well. That's a huge help when the video gets shared. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March, 2019. Thank you, Trisha. Okay, Cancer. Okay. So Cancer, I feel like you're setting out to explain a few things to people, maybe to one person in your life, maybe to a number of people in your life. And the sense that I get is that you might go in either a little heavy-handed or you might be set off a bit because you don't feel like people are fully understanding you, and you're sort of trying to lay things out really patiently, and someone doesn't quite get it, and then you have a little response, and then things get raised, and then you're like, oh my goodness, what's the problem here? Why isn't this quite right? And then you don't feel well, you can continue, or you just keep going in, banging on the same way, pushing on harder, and it causes difficulties. Cancer, you're coming from a bit of a place of pain, and that's why you're feeling the need to act in this way. You're coming from a place of pain that might lead to a bit of antagonism, and actually it's old stuff that doesn't even apply anymore, but it's stuff that you haven't quite worked through and released. So your first card coming up is the Three of Swords, and with the Three of Swords coming up, I feel the sense that you're trying to communicate, but you might not be recognizing where your own hurts and doubts and old unresolved stuff that hasn't been released is playing out within that, and that may cause some difficulties. I feel that you're fearing people. When on the one hand, when you're talking to them, you feel that they're going to kick off back at you. This might have happened to you in the past with the Six of Cups, and that's why you're feeling a little held back. So with the Five of Wands coming up, there is this sense that you're expecting the worst. You might be expecting conflict, bracing for conflict, and your tone and way of approaching things and describing things and interacting with people might be a factor there, and it's coming from a place of wounds that you've not quite dealt with, or that you're still attaching to, and that is a little bit difficult for you, Cancer, because I feel that you need to see your way past that. You see, you're quite focused on that grey sky. You feel things are not going to clear, not going to be wonderful, and the problem is that then you project that into your interactions. There is a thing about perspective here. Therefore, you see, I don't feel that everyone is against you. I feel there are people who want to help, want to connect, but you have to open yourself to that. If you're expecting people to be against you, it's much, much harder for them to make their way through to you. So you need to let a bit of light in, a bit of warmth in. With the sun showing up for you, you have to be able to look towards the light, to look towards what is warm, and offer warmth to people, and be understanding to people, and be understanding to yourself. So with that grey cloud of the Three of Swords, you know, when you apply the sun to that, those clouds shift, they clear, the water starts to evaporate, it becomes a bit easier, but it needs you to be able to release that. And what happens when you release that is that the rain and the water that you get will be much, much more positive, Cancer. I feel like if you're not careful, there may be a situation with a relationship or a potential relationship this week as well, where you're going in assuming this person won't have deep feelings for you, won't have strong feelings for you, or doubting your feelings for them. Maybe they've hurt you in the past, maybe you've broken up before, or maybe you've had a bit of antagonism and you're carrying a bit of hurt. But if you go in with warmth and openness and hope, then we get the Ace of Cups for you, Cancer. And with the Ace of Cups showing up, I feel that some of your relationships can be renewed, can be rejuvenated. And these can be romantic relationships, but they can be familial relationships or friendships. But it's all about what you carry into them. If you go in purely based on old hurt or expecting conflict, then conflict is what you'll get. But if you go in with a bit of light, warmth, and hope, things can become much, much stronger. And I feel that people will support you. I feel that you'll be rejuvenated, you'll be refreshed, you'll start to heal. With the Ace of Cups, there is this big space for healing that opens up, but it needs you to break that pattern, that old way of relating to yourself that means that you distrust other people. That opens up a process for you with the Six of Swords. It opens up a process where you move towards something better. So the intention that you set is the direction you want to move in, Cancer. And I feel for you, you move towards a direction of healing for yourself and healing for other people. There are a lot of sixes showing up this week. And so I feel that you are going to be moving in this direction, on this journey towards your own healing, towards understanding yourself, and that you don't need to be ruled by the past hurts, which you need to work through. But I feel that at the moment you're so scared of getting hurt that you have this defensive stance, and that opens you up to conflict that is unnecessary. So that has to be your focus this week. You need to catch yourself, prepare yourself for interactions, visualize them going positively, and catch yourself if you start to just fall back into those old ways, because there is love there. There is love there and there is healing there, but you have to be open to it, Cancer. That's hugely important for you. The next sign is going to be Leo. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March 2019. I would say Cancer, that goes for the bigger picture as well. If you start seeing the worst in the world and that's all that you can see, that is what you start to create, and it places you in a defensive place and not maybe a wonderful one, and you might start to talk other people down, and that's not great. So you have to be in that place with a bit more optimism, Cancer. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, Leo. I can, Nicole. It's really wonderful. I'm so glad you're all here. Okay, Leo. Okay, so Leo, you're absolutely motivated to offer warmth to people. I feel like you're like looking into the sunlight, you're walking out into it, you're embracing people, you're showing warmth, you want to be close to them. And then you start to doubt it a little bit, Leo. You might be pushing yourself just a little bit too hard before you're ready, and that's a little warning to you. So with the 10 of Wands showing up, there is this sense that you might be feeling a bit under strain, under pressure to be this warm person, this smiley person, where your own feelings don't quite come into it. And underpinning that, we have the Queen of Swords. And with the Queen of Swords showing up for you, Leo, the sense again is that you're just like, oh no, but I've thought about this. My own feelings have to go on hold. My own feelings go on hold. I have to show warmth to everyone else. That's all that matters. I have to offer them the light, the guidance. And I can't, doesn't, even though I have stuff going on myself, I'm hurting a bit and a bit fearful, I'm not going to let that in. I'm just going to be this warm person. And I feel you can be a warm person, Leo. But if you're not showing that warmth to yourself, if you're not recognizing your own needs, if you're putting yourself under more strain than you need to be, then how is that going to play out for you? There's a need for self-love. There's a need for healing. I feel like you need support, Leo. You want to go and do this stuff, and you can do this stuff. and you handle wands as fire better than most signs do. But you've got to look out for yourself as well. I feel like you may need some real healing at this time. You might want to speak to a healer or a therapist or a coach or a spiritual guide or something along these lines. But with the Queen of Pentacles showing up in the challenge position, I feel like you do need to be able to take on your own healing, to look after yourself, to accept healing from other people as well. You might have an earth sign in your life who's able to offer you the support that you need and able to help you out of your head a little bit and allow you to respect and love yourself a little bit more, Leo. So that could be Taurus, that could be Virgo, that could be Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, who is there to help you. And I feel that you need to embody that earthiness a bit more. You need to get grounded. You need to recognize that there is power within you, but you need to nurture it. You need to nurture yourself. You can't just push yourself, push yourself, push yourself. Give yourself a bit of a break, Leo, because there are other people who will show some light to you as well. You don't have to be the one shining it absolutely everywhere. And therefore, becomes about boundaries for you as well. The self-care moves into boundaries with the Nine of Wands showing up. I feel that you push yourself too hard and then you might get a bit defensive, a bit resentful maybe, which isn't wonderful. And you might be like, I'm giving everyone all this help, but where's my help? Where's my support? But are you asking for that support, Leo? Are you asking for the support and help that you need? Or are you forcing yourself to be happy, happy, smiley, smiley, warm, warm all the way through? Because I feel there has to be just bringing this into balance a little bit. I feel that is your old pattern, Leo. Your old pattern where you offer all this warmth to other people, but you don't offer it to yourself. And then you're like, no, why is no one offering it to me? And the answer is because you're not opening yourself to it. That healing that you're going to do is going to open you to it. It's going to stop you from becoming defensive. It's going to allow you to operate boundaries instead. And then the hope does show up. The hope does show up. And then you're able to see things much more clearly because the bigger picture requires you to be more open to looking after yourself and letting other people reach out to you as well, Leo. I hope that makes sense to you. So coming up next is going to be Virgo. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March 2019. Virgo. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, Virgo. Virgo, you're up in your thoughts and you're distracted, and yet you're not really in your feelings, but you're very much in your thoughts. There's a bit of overwhelm going on. You're missing opportunities. This isn't great, and you're you're working so hard to put a brave face on it, but by doing so, you're not dealing with your own stuff, and nor are you allowing other people to help you or just be around you, Virgo. And this is not great, because I feel that a lot of things in your life that you've been working on start to suffer as a result of that. The King of Cups is showing up for you, and I feel this is the position that you're trying to occupy, and it's not a healthy King of Cups. I feel like you are just attempting to really sort of be like, oh no, I'm fine, don't worry about me, I'll deal with this. But part of being the King of Cups, Virgo, has to be actually dealing with your feelings and recognizing that you don't have to be like this pillar of strength all the time when you got stuff to work through, because there's stuff that you're avoiding. There's stuff that you're avoiding with the Three of Swords showing up. So you're not admitting to your hurt, or you're feeling hurt, but then you're projecting it everywhere in order to avoid dealing with your own feelings. And part of that then is not allowing people close to you, closing yourself off. This isn't great. And you sort of sit there and people come in and offer you help, and you're like, no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. But I don't feel like you are necessarily fine at the moment, Virgo. I feel that you could use that help. You could use that support. You don't need to be so stubborn, so closed off. And I feel that you have to get to grips with what is going on within you, because I feel otherwise this stuff just comes out elsewhere. It comes out elsewhere, and you cut yourself off and you expose yourself to being alone with the Ten of Swords. And what is that for, Virgo? Why do you feel the need to potentially martyr yourself or deny yourself that help at the moment? Because there are people out there offering love and support. So you don't have to be the King of Cups to yourself constantly, because somebody else can come in and offer that to you. That might be a water sign. So that might be Cancer, it might be Scorpio, it might be Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. But there are people who are able to offer you real support at this time, Virgo. And you need to open yourself up to it. You need to open yourself up to it so as you can get back to the things that you do best, that you need to be working on. And that is your work and it is your project, but it's also looking after your health. I don't think you're looking after your health at the moment, Virgo. I feel you're neglecting your health in places, and that's not great. That's not great, and it's not going to do you any favors. This stuff isn't going to be able to just be there. The things that you've built, that you've worked on, that you need going forward are not going to be able to be there if you don't deal with what's going on within you, and if you don't allow other people to help you. You need to be doing that in the new year. It can't just be, I'm going to do it all myself. I know you often go that way, but it's not putting you in a good place, because I don't feel that you are dealing with everything that you need to. If you start to allow people in, if you start to accept that help, that warmth, that support, and it's emotional support mostly, then you can work through this stuff. You can absolutely work through this stuff. You can get back to the things that you need to be doing. And that then moves you to a space of the King of Pentacles. Far more in control, far more trusting, far more able to work with what you have in front of you. But it needs you to be open, Virgo. This is so, so important. If you're not open, then you're in this Two of Swords space where you're closing yourself off, not seeing what's in front of you. And then you can't assert yourself as the Magician, Virgo. And this is an old pattern. There is no need for it at this time. You need to be opening yourself up this week, starting the new astrological year as you mean to go on, because you are affected at the moment. It's okay that you're affected, but people will help you. People will help you, and it will get you back on track over time, Virgo. I hope that makes sense to you. The next sign is going to be Libra. Hi, La Luna. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 17th till the 23rd of March 2019. Libra. Libra. Okay, Libra. Libra, another love reading for you, like you ever go anywhere else. And I feel that there's somebody you're focused on and interested in, and you're trying to observe them very carefully. You're kind of like, are they interested? I can't tell. Are they flirting with me? I can't tell. Are they disinterested? I can't tell. You're reading an awful lot into every little thing about them and how they are acting. I feel there's a chance for something here, Libra, but I feel that you're so fixated on body language, on the signs and everything else, that you're not trusting your own feelings and working with them at this time. And I feel that's not doing you any favors. It might be leading you into a bit of overthinking. It might be isolating you a tiny bit. And I feel that you just want this to happen. You want it to get started, to get going, essentially. And there is a chance for that to happen, but not if you stay in this place, which of course is an old pattern. It's an old pattern when actually there's a need to act in the new year and not feel held back. And certainly not be overthinking with the Knight of Swords, which we've moved away from, because we've all done quite enough overthinking in this Mercury retrograde, to be honest. We don't need more of it. So your first card coming up, Libra, is the Nine of Pentacles. And with the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like you're observing, and it's like this parrot on the shoulder, and it's repeating all your fears and doubts back to you. And you're sort of looking backwards and going, I can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. But you want something to happen here with the Ace of Wands. You want to explode into life here, don't you, Libra? You want things to start, to get going, to shift, to move, to go. You don't want to stay in this situation of just observing and wondering and everything else. You want to know. With the Six of Wands and the Ace of Wands, you absolutely want to know. With the Two of Wands, you need to trust yourself a lot more, because you're attractive, because your independence isn't compromised, but you're attractive, you're powerful, you're vibrant, you're able to offer something here. But you're going to have to bite the bullet and do it. Bite the bullet and do it. Like, show your interest, show your love, ask them out. The Knight of Cups coming up. That is where you're having to move toward. Like Knight of Cups, Two of Wands. Put some romance and some fire into this connection, Libra. You don't need to just be like, oh. It's very rigid where you are at the moment. There's no need for it. I feel that's part of the bigger picture as well. You're feeling just not able to act that well at the moment, Libra. And it just needs you to really make a break with things and just go and start doing stuff, doing the things that you want to, connecting to the people you're attracted to, deepening those connections, putting some life into it. Go in with some life, go in with some fire. Not all this intellectual stuff, but a bit of fire and a bit of romance. And especially the romance together with that is going to help you to really move things forward rather than just sort of sitting back and not quite knowing and being like, well, I'm all right by myself, actually. I don't feel like you really feel that at all, Libra, but good story to be telling yourself, I'm sure. But honestly, I feel that there is a real opportunity for you here. You know, these are not bad news cards by any means. So I feel you're in a really, really good place, but you have to go after it, Libra. You absolutely do. I hope that makes sense to you. The next sign up is going to be Scorpio. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March 2019. Scorpio. Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. Yeah. Don't be so quick to continue or act this week, Scorpio. I feel like you're in this habit of doing things. You have this routine. You're, I'm just going to go and do this, do this, do this, do this. I've decided in advance how things are going to go. This happens, this happens, this happens. It's all mapped out. It's all laid out. And the problem is that while you have this big vision, this idea, and you keep doing all this stuff towards it with the world, Scorpio, I feel like that isn't quite where things need to be. I feel that there's actually a bit of avoidance going on there. I feel like this is an old plan, old ideas, old ways of doing things with the Six of Cups and with the Two of Swords that's actually holding you back, and there is no need. So you have the Five of Wands showing up, so you are throwing yourself into action, quite exhausting action. You might have lots of stuff planned out for this week, but the stuff that you're planning out, I feel, isn't necessarily what you need to be doing at this time, and you may cause yourself problems, and you may miss something. You might miss some really big insights this week. I'm feeling there are potential downloads for you, but you might be closing yourself off to them. With barrier, I feel like you may be too locked in to this approach that you've been taking on that is actually quite a defensive approach and doesn't really fit where we're moving towards now. So you need to be a bit freer and more open this week. You need to be open to sudden inspiration, sudden guidance. Guidance from higher, guidance from I don't know where, but I feel it's like it's going to give you new ideas and new ways of doing things, but not if you're so busy that you're draining yourself and you're so fixated on having all the answers when I don't feel you do. So your challenge is the Eight of Wands, and it is a very, very specific Eight of Wands in this deck, and I feel this is what's coming in for you this week, Scorpio. So you are going to be receiving sudden information, a new impetus, a new way of doing things, a new way of understanding things. And it's going to move you very, very quickly forwards. It's going to move you very, very quickly forwards if you allow yourself the space for it. Otherwise, I feel like you just go down the same old roads that are not right for you. But if you allow this in, something else happens. So you need to cut your diary back this week, Scorpio. You need to spend time in meditation. You need time to be open fully to what is coming through for you so as you can make that shift. You need to be wide open and not closed off with barrier, because then I feel you grasp it. You grasp it and you can decide to commit to it and move on it with the King of Swords. And it needs you to make that commitment, to be very, very sharp. So this could be a change of course for you this week, Leo. Could be small, could be big. Could affect your whole way of viewing the world, what you offer in this context. And we've talked about the big context, and you have a role to play too, Scorpio, because you see deep, you see what's underpinning things, but your old assumptions may be in the way of that. And I feel the new insights you're going to get this week are absolutely crucial, which means that you need to make space for them to come through and be able to act on them and make that decision to switch course if you need to. I hope that makes sense for you, Scorpio. The next sign is going to be Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March 2019. Your first cards are on the floor, Sagittarius. Give me a second. Very keen to leap out there. Sagittarius. Okay, Sag. You've been pushing on by yourself an awful lot, like recently, Sagittarius. This is the thing that I get, is you've just been keeping going. I'm going to keep doing this. I feel this is the right direction for me. This is the right path for me. I'm going to keep doing it, keep going in that direction. So with the High Priestess showing up, first of all, for you, this is... I feel you've been guiding yourself in the right direction. You've been guiding yourself in the right direction, but you've been having to take a lot on trust and on faith. So you've been doing it, but you've not felt really in control of your destiny with the Hanged Man. And as a result of that, you've been feeling a bit under strain as well with the 10 of Wands, but you've not been sharing it. You've been pushing on, keeping going, pushing on, keeping going. This is the way forward. This is the way through. I trust myself deeply that I'm being guided towards something here. And I feel that things are going to start to open up for you this week, Sagittarius. I feel you've been right to be taking that approach. Now, the Knight of Swords comes up for you. And I feel with the Knight of Swords, this means that you start to get ideas. And maybe someone comes in and starts to give you ideas. But I feel like suddenly everything opens up in front of you. And now suddenly you have choices, things that you can be doing. Everything starts to open up, and the person coming in to help you or advise you may be an air sign. So they may be Gemini, they may be Libra, they may be Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I feel they come in quite suddenly. I feel like they stir stuff up a little bit, shake stuff up a little bit. And you might be like, oh, but I'm really tired. I can't deal with this person who talks so much. It's so chatty, so wants to know all this stuff and all of this. But I feel this is a friendly figure who you're encountering this week, Sagittarius. And I feel that they are quite light-hearted and they can lift your mood if you allow them to, if you don't stop looking down and being so down in the dumps, because otherwise you're looking away from them. But they have this ability to kind of help you along and out of this hanged man space, because we've been doing all right with the high priestess, and that's okay. You've been doubted a little bit and there's no need. I don't feel this person is here to dictate to you, but they're here to help you to open things up, to see a bigger picture, a wider way of doing things. A wider way of doing things that can move you towards the things that you actually want, that you dream of. This allows you to see a brighter future as well. When we look at the collective picture, we need people who can see a brighter future and help to build it. With the Nine of Cups, that is what is being offered to you, is the help to see a brighter future, a better future, to not be quite so cynical, to recognize that what you've been doing is absolutely correct for you, but now things open up and you can help to open things up for everyone else as well. This is the picture. Other people open things up for you. You open things up for everyone else. You don't have to go on alone and feel so under strain. Instead, you move into a space of the Nine of Cups where you feel able to attract what you need and to do the stuff necessary to get that in your life. This is really, really positive, Sagittarius. It needs you to move forward just a little bit at the start of the week, and then things open up for you. And whether you get the insights yourself, whether someone else comes in and starts to show you little things, and yeah, they might annoy you a little bit because they're very talkative, but I feel that they have your best interests at heart and they will really help you. And this can give you a new lease on life and much, much wider perspectives. And then you're able to decide exactly how you fit with this and where you want to go next, rather than feeling like you're just trudging along for the sake of it. I hope that makes sense to you, Sagittarius. Coming up next is going to be Capricorn. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March 2019. Capricorn. Hi, Ms. Kim. Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn. I feel like you recognize you need a rest, Capricorn. I also feel like the moment you take a rest, you feel really guilty about it. Like you go out into the sunshine, you sit in the sunshine a bit, or you sit in a cafe outside in the sunshine or whatever else, and you're like, oh, this is nice. Okay, I'm relaxing here with the Four of Swords. And then you're like, oh, but actually, shouldn't I be working myself really, really hard? So you have your own card showing up. Your own card is the Devil. And I feel that we have to work on this idea that you have, Capricorn, that you need to be working all the time, pushing yourself really hard. You're not allowed to rest. You're not allowed to have feelings. You're not allowed to recover. Not allowed to take time for yourself, because you are, Capricorn. You really are. And I feel taking time for yourself is really, really crucial. So you have the Seven of Swords showing up. And with the Seven of Swords, I feel like you just feel like the moment you take time for yourself, you're doing something wrong. You're doing somebody a disservice, but you're not, Capricorn. What you're doing is looking out for yourself. What you're doing is taking the time to gather your thoughts, to be a person who cares about themselves. Nine of Pentacles, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to rest up. You're allowed to recognize what you've put into place, what you've achieved, what you've built. And you're allowed to enjoy the sunshine when it's sunny as well, Capricorn. This is really, really crucial for you. So all of this is stuff that you need to be incorporating into your life. When you get out into the sunshine and when you take a rest, which I feel you're going to do that. That's the thing that you're doing. You don't need then to be feeling guilty about it, or like you're doing something wrong, like you're abandoning your commitments or abandoning other people, because you're not. You're also allowed to enjoy the company of other people, Capricorn. You have your independence, but with the Three of Cups coming up as well, you're then allowed to connect to people, be around people, enjoy people's company. Don't restrict yourself. Stop closing yourself off. You're allowed to have a good time by yourself and with other people. And that connection also is part of looking after yourself. It's part of your self-care. And you will emerge from it feeling stronger. You'll emerge from it feeling more able to act, clearer on what you're doing, not just going through the motions, not just putting yourself through your paces. And then you can embody the more positive parts of the devil, because the devil is also hardworking. The devil is also successful. The devil is you, Capricorn. That's your card. But you can't feel guilty then about any aspect of that. Really, you are here to play this particular role. And that includes being kind to yourself, being nice to yourself, and connecting with others. Not just like cracking this whip on yourself to work harder and harder and harder. That's not going to get you where you need to be, Capricorn. You're allowed to just take a little breather and enjoy yourself a bit. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Aquarius. Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising for the 17th to the 23rd of March 2019. Aquarius. Aquarius. Hi, Siobhan. Hi, Eleanor. Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Nicole says, oh no. You need to be quite open to connection at this time, Aquarius. I feel that somebody important is in your life or coming into your life as the Page of Pentacles, and there is a need to reach for them and connect to them. This might be an earth sign, it might be a younger earth sign, and this could be Taurus, it could be Virgo, it could be Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Rising, but it doesn't have to be, but it's an important connection. It's an important connection, but you're quite defensive and closed off with the Nine of Wands, and you're sort of like, now they can't mean me, they can't really want to connect with me. And then all this like rubbish views that are old about yourself start to come up, the stuff that you haven't released with the Six of Cups, the stuff that holds you back. With the Two of Swords, the stuff that prevents you from acting, with the Magician. But there is a need to act and start to build something with this person. The Page of Pentacles. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship necessarily, but it's somebody who cares about you, wants to connect with you, maybe wants to work with you. There could be a work thing going on here, but you need to have this more mature view of yourself. You have some self-doubts. Manifests as defensiveness, pushes you backwards at times, means you push people away, and that's the stuff you need to be dealing with at this time, because this can be a new chance and a new beginning for you with Event Horizon. But it requires you to look this person in the eye, look forward, not dart away from them, not hide from their gaze. Yeah, you have difficult stuff to work through, but with strength. You need to be around this person, connecting with this person, allowing things to strengthen, because they are here to help you, Aquarius. They are here to connect with you, but only if you show yourself properly. The Queen of Swords showing up for you. I feel you're the Queen of Swords here, Aquarius. And the problem sometimes with being a Queen of Swords is that you're like, I've seen it all before. I've got nothing to learn. You close yourself off. You let a bit of bitterness get to you and influence you. But you need to be that bit more open at this time, Aquarius. Be open, because they do mean you. They are interested in connecting with you. You are of interest to them. You have stuff to add to their lives. If you can connect in this way, I feel it works out very, very well for you with the Six of Wands, which is where we head towards. This can be an important person in your life, somebody who's in your life for some time, or if they're in your life for a short time, who has a big influence. I feel they're creative as the Page of Pentacles. I feel they fit well with you. I feel that you'll help each other out. This will help you to move forward with each other, but you need to allow yourself to connect. You absolutely do. It's part of a bigger picture in your life, but this can be a change in that bigger picture that moves you to where you need to be, and where you leave these old patterns from the past behind with Event Horizon. It requires you not to fall back into those old ways with strength, but to be able to allow yourself to connect. I hope that makes sense to you, Aquarius. High Stardust in cards. Coming up next is the final sign, which is Pisces. Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising. For the 17th to the 23rd of March, 2019. Pisces. Pisces. Sun is still in your sign for another couple of days, Pisces. Thank you, Stardusting cards. Thank you, Eleanor. Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Okay. Interesting, Pisces, interesting. So, First of all, I feel that you've been spending a lot of time with a particular person of late. This is somebody who I feel you're romantically interested in, somebody you've been deepening your connection to. You've really been feeling them, and I feel this is starting to go somewhere. With the Six of Cups showing up, you're kind of wondering, how does this relate to my past? You might feel like this person spoils you quite a lot. It's very, very kind to you, shares quite a lot. You might not feel worthy of that. That might cause you a few difficulties. It doesn't need to. They're sharing stuff with you. They're doing stuff for you. They're spending time with you because they want to be Pisces, and you don't necessarily need to be closing off to them. You can allow this to go where it needs to. Feel a bit of you wants to panic and run away scared and hide. That's kind of your Six of Cups. That might be what you've done before. You fear the worst. But with the King of Cups underpinning things, it's okay if you communicate that. You can admit to them that you might feel a little scared, a little apprehensive. You're coming from a difficult place because they care about you and they feel they want to connect with you. I absolutely feel they want to connect with you, but you don't have to be, oh, I'm tough, I can't admit it to them. No bullshit. You're allowed to open your heart about your feelings, Pisces. It's going to help you. You have the Queen of Cups showing up as well. So this is a heartfelt connection that you're dealing with. It's a deep connection. It may have a past life influence on it as well. With the Six of Cups, that may be why you're surprised by how close you feel, how much they want to do for you. And that might be leading you to want to close off a bit with barrier. But I don't feel like you need to close off too much, Pisces. I feel like you can allow this connection to develop, to become more, to go where it needs to. I feel like you might travel away somewhere together sometime soon. I feel like this can actually move on to a new stage. You're a bit afraid of this deepening, Pisces. You're a bit afraid of this deepening because you weren't expecting it to come about, because things haven't always gone that well in the past and it's led you to close off. But there's no need at this time. You can allow things to develop. Your final card is Death. So I feel that you are going to find out what this relationship is all about. And you're not going to do that by sitting it out or closing yourself off necessarily. You will get there by connecting more, by allowing it to become what it needs to. So allow them to offer you their hand and go where this needs to. You can connect so deeply. This can be really, really close, really, really beautiful. But you're not going to find out if you close off to it. The Six of Wands, remember, is where we all head towards. So we're all going to get our outcomes soon. We're all hopefully going to move to a stronger place. For you, Pisces, that concerns this relationship that's been nicely developing for you in recent times. And I hope that makes sense to you. And that is the readings complete for all 12 signs. I have time to pull cards for a couple of people. If anyone would like me to, if you have a question for me, please pop it in the live chat. In the meantime, I'll remind everyone, please like the video, please share the video, please subscribe and enable notifications so as you never miss me. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can do so. My details are in the box below. We can talk about any situation or area of life, and we can also expand on anything that came up there, anything else you'd like to talk about as well. If my readings help you, please think about leaving a tip or a donation. The details for that are in the box below as well. Let me see if there are any questions coming through that I am drawn to. La Luna, will my music project that I've been working to release my songs be successful, dear Zelda? Let me have a look for you, La Luna. La Luna. La Luna's music project. Let me have a look for you, La Luna. Okay, La Luna. Okay. I feel like the work is ongoing, La Luna. I feel that you're obviously hoping to share this with people with the Three of Cups, with the Nine of Cups coming up. You are very, very hopeful of some major success here. You want this to kind of break through and go somewhere. However, the work has to be ongoing. The work has to be ongoing. And I feel with the Four of Wands coming up, you need to see this project as the start of something that you're going to build on over time. So this is a first stage, and I feel that it will be the start of something, but you might be placing very high expectations on yourself. There's not really any need to. You are doing okay. The work is ongoing with the Seven of Pentacles. With the Seven of Swords, this is also then about your expression of yourself. You're doing this for yourself. You're expressing yourself. This is big for you. And I feel that its value is predominantly in there. Can it be successful? It can, but it's going to take longer than just this project, if that makes sense. It becomes part of a bigger series of projects that are going to move in that direction. And I feel that with that, what you might find is that you work quite solo for a long time. I feel that's a big part of it. And I feel that there is going to be like that. You're going to have this launch and it's going to move from there. But there is going to need to be just that bit more of a push afterwards to add to it and build on it. But you can celebrate it in and of itself as a wonderfully successful project. Just by itself, it's not everything. There will be more that you have to do, that you have to add to it. I hope that makes sense to you. Erin Lou. Zelda, I met somebody at the beginning of March. I felt a strong connection, but I'm not sure if it was my imagination. His name is W. Okay, Erin, let me have a look for you. Erin. W. Okay. Okay. You might want to think this one through a bit. Coming up is the Hermit. So I feel like the feeling that you got was real, but I feel like it's not the whole story. What it's not is the Knight of Pentacles. So I don't feel like this person is going to come in and build a wonderfully stable relationship with you. I feel that you can be open, but I feel that you need to get to know more about this person over time. With the Knight of Swords and the Nine of Cups, there is stuff to learn, to understand, to get on top of. And I don't feel like that is there straight away. I feel you can be open, but a big part of that is waiting as well then for that person to come to you rather than chasing after them. And recognizing with the Knight of Swords that they will probably come in and talk an awful lot, and over time you'll get to know who they are. That may be the stable base of a relationship with the Ace of Pentacles, but I don't feel you have the whole picture yet, and that is going to become clear through your interactions with them. I hope that makes sense to you. Thank you all so much for tuning in tonight. It's been wonderful seeing so many of you on this channel. I hope to see you all again really soon. Please remember to like the video, to share the video, to subscribe and enable notifications. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can do so. All my details are just below, and my readings are reduced in price during March, so you can get a bargain if you come in this month. If my readings help you, please leave me a tip or a donation. Details are in the box below as well for my PayPal. Please follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Please sign up to my weekly newsletter where you get sent weekly tarot scopes and you get 10% off your next reading as well. Thank you all for being here. If I can help you with anything at all, please feel free to get in touch anytime. And I hope to see you all again really, really soon. And I wish you a wonderful Sunday night.